A writer has revealed a blockbuster Pelicans trade that is focused on one player, and that is wild, and that has huge implications on the New Orleans Pelicans going forwards for years to come, as this would change the entire outlook of the franchise and make things look very different in New Orleans for the coming years, and also really would have fans split on this move. And before we jump into that, guys, if you're part of that 54% that's not subscribed to Pelicans Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New Orleans Pelicans updates. You do not want to miss out on all the news that we have coming out over the next couple days and weeks. With everything starting to ramp up a little bit, there's a lot of excitement surrounding the Pelicans as they have to win without that first round pick next year, and we are going to break everything down. Let's jump right into it. There's a lot to go over on the New Orleans Pelicans. As we know, Joe Dumars has been no stranger to making trades early on into his tenure with the Pelicans. Now, he's jumped out, obviously made that Derek Queen trade, the trade that's been most marketed surrounding the team thus far because of giving up that first-round pick next year. But on top of that, also the Jordan Poole move. There's been a lot that has really been going on with the New Orleans Pelicans over this offseason. There's been a lot of trades, and now, according to a writer, they are not done, as a new trade has been brought up surrounding one of the more controversial players in the NBA, and that is not because it's controversial. You could hear the sirens outside, and that is not because he is off the court controversial. It's for what he does on the court. Is LaMelo Ball is nothing short of a very good NBA talent. He's been an all-star multiple times for a reason. However, at the end of the day, he is injury prone, and there's a lot of question marks surrounding the true value of LaMelo Ball and how much he is going to bring to a winning team while he's stuck on the Charlotte Hornets, who have been able to do nothing to help this team succeed. Now, in a trade recently proposed, it would be sending LaMelo Ball to the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins, and a 2027 first-round pick to Charlotte. Now, obviously, this would be an absolutely insane trade to see go down. It would be one of the biggest trades we've seen in a long time in the NBA, as probably the biggest trade since the Luka move, for the Luka for AD trade, which is the biggest trade in NBA history. We would see LaMelo Ball join a New Orleans Pelicans team that is hungry and that is trying to win games once again, as they would be starting to give up more pick or more assets when it comes to their first round draft stash. However, at the same time, they would be bringing in an all-star guard, which would lead to a lot of changes for this Pelicans team. Now, jumping in to the reasoning for it, Sports Illustrated mentioned that the Pelicans can't come nearly opposite for their weakness in offense. They rated the bottom of the league in offensive efficiency in 2024, and it is now time to make a statement. What is the future of this team? New Orleans still views Zion as their future centerpiece. By adding LaMelo Ball, they can now add another element of shooting success. Murray and LaMelo Ball could be a lethal running gun duo with Jordan Poole to support and run with the bench in many rotations. Leaving this duo on the bench just for Fears and Poole to come in will leave defenses winded. Not to mention, Zion gets opened up to drive to the rim and draw unlimited fouls. The offense is spread impressively here. Also, at the same time, the LaMelo Ball to Zion Williamson lobs would be absolutely unbelievable. Now, LaMelo Ball last season put up, in 32 minutes, 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists. He got over a steal per game, shot 40% from the field and 34% from 3. It was not Ball's most efficient season by any means, but he's still just about to turn 24 years old in a week, and Ball does have a lot of talent. He's had better seasons than this, but really with just the fact that the Hornets are as terrible as they are, it is tough for LaMelo Ball to find that real efficiency, because he just does not have a lot of help on that team whatsoever. And he's now found himself in a lot of trade rumors and noise. And with all this in mind, it is something to seriously consider. Now, Sports Illustrated also mentioned that the Hornets would do this deal because they have struggled to do anything worthwhile in the LaMelo Ball era. In the last 3 seasons, the Hornets' most successful win total was 27 games. The last time that they were over that is in 2021. As for LaMelo Ball, he is not very durable. Last season, he recorded his most games played since 2021 with 47. Even in his last healthy season, they only achieved 43 wins. 2021, Ball played 75 games, and they made the play-in game where they evidently lost. LaMelo Ball is a costly asset that the Hornets own, but this team is not reaching elite levels. At some point, the experiment must end. The Hornets have been among the NBA's worst in defensive efficiency, and it's about time that they round this team out instead of running and gunning to no avail. Now, there's a lot of interesting stuff here is obviously this trade would be sending Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins, and the 2027 first-round pick to the Hornets. Trey Murphy's the piece that it hurts the most to lose. Obviously, that pick does not feel too good anyway, but Murphy has been an excellent player, and we're going to jump back into that discussion in one sec. But right now, when we look at the Pelicans depth chart, you have to consider, does it get better with LaMelo Ball at the 1, Dejounte Murray at the 2, Jordan Poole off the bench as your backup lead guard? You also then... You put Herb Jones as your starting forward, which works really well next to Dejounte Murray for one of the best defensive wing duos in basketball. You still have Zion and Yves Missi out there. You still have Kevon Looney, Derek Queen, Sadiq Bey. Your front court really doesn't make too many changes. What we see here is Herb Jones become your starting small forward. You see Jordan Hawkins obviously move on. You see Jeremiah Fears and Jordan Poole be the two guys coming off the bench, which would be a little bit rough defensively, but the offense would be very strong. They're strengthening an offense that desperately needs it. The Pelicans would definitely only have a couple, not like 9 players on the real roster, so you would definitely need to go out there and sign a few more bodies to bring into this team, specifically someone who could play that wing forward spot behind Herb Jones, because outside of Sadiq Bey, you just would not have much to go off of there. And the trade is very interesting just to look at because there's a lot to really consider here. I mean, you see Trey Murphy, who's, again, an excellent player. You see Jordan Hawkins, who hasn't really gotten things going with New Orleans, and the change of scenery would probably help. Jose Alvarado is someone who's widely expected to not be too long for this team right now, and I put a 2029 top 5 protected because I think that's a more realistic situation here. But also you could throw that 2027 first rounder in as well. But LaMelo Ball then gets traded there. I mean, what we see is the Pelicans, their numbers get better. Their offensive and defensive numbers improve off of this. Their financial situation does not take a hit at all as well. So everything sort of works out in their favor with that. It's just a matter of you're giving up a lot of depth and Trey Murphy, who was one of the best players on the team last year. So you do have to consider, is that going to be worth it? This is not going to be the most popular opinion in the world, and I'm sort of ready for this. You do this trade. You do. You do. I mean, right now, there's no pick next year. I get it's a swap. I understand. But the Pelicans don't own their pick next year. You go out there and you do this trade. Because if you do this, you're going all in. You're going all in on this risk reward, which is already what they're... It's 1 foot in, 1 foot out now on a risk reward that's already there. You just dive all in. Look, I don't want to lose Trey Murphy. I don't want to see that happen. Trey Murphy's excellent, but at the same time, LaMelo Ball is better than him. I mean, look, Trey Murphy had a great season last year. Don't get me wrong. He put up 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. He's a good defender. Shot 44% of the corner threes and 36% from 3 and 45% from the field. The numbers are good. I'm not pretending like the numbers aren't good, but also... And this is no shade, he was also a product of a lot of injuries and getting a lot more opportunities than he usually did. Now, he took full advantage of them and looked very good, and I do think Trey Murphy is an excellent future piece for this team going forwards for a long time. It's why he got signed to a new contract. But at the same time, you do have to consider everything. I mean, losing Jose Alvarado will be sad, but it won't change things too dramatically, if you ask me. I mean, yeah, he puts up 10 points and 4.5 assists. Those are good numbers. He shoots 40% from the field, which is a little low, and 36% from 3, which is fine. But, like, at the same time, it's not something that's going to be really moving to lose either him or Jordan Hawkins, who put up 11 points, 3 rebounds, and has struggled to shoot the ball from really anywhere outside of the corner 3 throughout his NBA career thus far, and especially last season as well. You could go out there and add this to a team that you then have Dejounte Murray covering for LaMelo Ball defensively. Herb Jones is out there as well, being an excellent defender. Zion Williamson, LaMelo Ball become one of the best pick-and-roll duos in basketball and the most fun lob threat that we will see. And on top of that, you still do have a great center in Yves Missi. You have Derek Queen. You have Jeremiah Fears. You still have young players on this team as well. And then you go out there, you replace those guys in free agency. I mean... One name that just comes to mind off the top of my head, you go get Amir Coffey. There you go. You get another great shooter onto this team. You make an offensively focused team. And here's one more thing about this whole deal. What we look at right here with LaMelo Ball is the fact that he's made one play-in game throughout his career, and that's the only success he had. The coach of that team is none other than Pelicans associate head coach James Borrego. Borrego is next in line if Willie Green gets fired. I don't know about you guys. I have a feeling Willie Green is not long for this job, and that means James Borrego will take over, meaning Ball will be very familiar with the coach. There will be a coach in there who, honestly, I think Borrego is a better coach than Willie Green, so on top of better head coach, I think that's what... this feels like a move that very quickly turns into, all right, we're actually trying to win something here instead of just sort of treading water in a Western Conference where if you even start to tread water, especially after trading a first-round pick, you are screwed. So you go all in. Again, I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion to some degree. I know people are not going to like that I'm saying you do this move specifically in regards to trading Trey Murphy away. I don't want to trade Trey Murphy, but you have to give up value to get back good value. And I know Ball is injured, and these sirens out there are coming to arrest me for saying this, but you risk it. You just do, because at this point, you got to take risks to try to win, because right now, there's a dozen teams in the Western Conference better than the New Orleans Pelicans, and again, lack of a first-round pick. You go do this trade. That's what I would say personally. What do you guys think? Do you hate me for saying that? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I will catch you on the next one.